We're going to have a quick look at the text label control. So starting from the Repeat Signage Designer, I click on Insert and Text Label. And you can just type in some text. I'm just going to put hello from Repeat Signage. You've also got other options here as well, like you can display text from a file. So you can have the file either in a local or network drive, at repeatserver.com, on a website, in a file on an FTP site. So there's lots of options. But for the second, we just click on OK. At this point, you can't change things like fonts, etc. But you just choose where the actual text is coming from. And then that drops on the designer screen. Now if I hold down my left mouse button on here, I can actually drag this here anywhere I want it. Do a resize, and the text will always, by default, centers horizontally and vertically within the control itself. But if I resize too thin, then you'll automatically see it in a sort of text wrap instead. So that's our basic control. Now what I can do is I can double click on this, and the most common option is going to be to actually change the font. So I'm going to click on the fonts tab. You see we've got loads of different tabs at the top. So what I might do is I'd set it to bold, change the size to say 36, change the font. And I've also got these options here like alignment. I can make this left, as you can see in the preview, and I can say align bottom instead. And click on OK. So that's now aligned bottom, the bottom left of that particular control. So there's my text. We'll just look at a few other options as well. While we're actually on the main part of the actual screen itself, what you can do is you can do things like change the control shape, but we'll show you that in a minute. If we change the fade, we can actually go to something like 30 or 50, and what that does is it fades that entire text. So if there was anything underneath that text, then you'd start seeing that through as well. I'll just put that back now. Now if we double click again, we can look at more properties. So what we might also want to do is change the colours. We've got various options on this particular page. At the moment we're on font colour and background colour are both solid, which basically means we can specify a font colour and a background colour. So we could just try doing that. So to change the font colour I click on choose, and I've got various options on here. At the moment I've got a solid colour, so I'm just going to change it to a different solid colour. Let's say this orange for instance, and OK. I can also choose a gradient colour if I wanted to as well, and a gradient colour goes from one colour to a different colour in various directions, which when I click on OK and look at the preview, that can give quite a nice effect at times. You can also do the same with the background colours, so let me just select a different background colour really quickly. I'm going to go for a light yellow and OK. You've also got the option of actually choosing an image to be the font itself, which is quite a nice effect at sometimes. I'll just show you that quickly. I'm just going to browse and I'll just scroll down until I see an appropriate image. Yep, I use that one of clouds. So that can give you quite a nice effect as well. I think for the moment we'll just stick with the normal colours. These options, font colour is solid and background is transparent. That's good if you want to put text over, say, things like a video control, where you actually want the text to be displayed all the time, but you can still see the video running behind it. But for the moment, we'll just stick on the solid colours. So if I click on OK to apply that, you'll see that this text has changed. Now, I'll just show you some more options. If I double click on this, and I go to rotate flip, I can actually change the direction of the actual text itself, but you'll see my control is stayed exactly the same. What I want to then do is just to resize my control so that I get my text vertically instead. So that can be quite a nice effect as well. Right, we'll just go back to normal text. Now what I'm going to do at the moment is we've just manually typed in some text, so I'm just going to double click on this, and we're going to change that to text from a file. So I'm just going to click on local network file. I'm going to browse for a file, and there's one on my end drive called dutymanager.txt. So if I just double click on that and click on OK, the text in that file is sort of today's duty manager is Peter, and then a mobile phone number. Now, what I might want to do is, when that text file changes, I would quite like the text on this screen to be updated automatically. Now I'll show you how to do that. If I double click on the control again and go to the refresh tab, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Repeat Signage to check for updated content and to check every 5 seconds. And that's just for this example really sort of low value. So every 5 seconds Repeat Signage is going to check to see if that text is changed. Now if I just bring up Windows Explorer and I go to my end drive where that file was located and I double click on the Duty Manager file, it says Duty Manager is Peter, and let's say I wanted to change that to the Duty Manager is James, and let's just change that phone number to something different. Now when I click on File and Save, what's going to happen is the date on that particular file has changed, and Repeat Signage will read that, and you can see it's automatically changed. So that can be a really quick way of actually updating the text that's displayed on a particular screen sort of like fairly much instantly. And the great thing is, because it's getting it from a text file on the network drive, you can either get somebody to update it manually. We've also got a text management system, which I'm not going to demonstrate in this particular video, but it allows you to very quickly update text files. You can also display text from places like repeatserver.com, which is like a free hosting service. One advantage of doing that is you could have somebody else anywhere in the world basically. They can change the text at that particular service by logging in, changing the text and publishing it, and then it will update instantly on a screen, so the screen could be actually somewhere on the other side of the world. So that's like part of the free remote updating service that we do as well. There are loads of different tabs on here which you can go through. We've got things like shape and border. So I mentioned earlier about the shape of the control. What you can do, either do it here or on the previous screen, you can actually sort of like set a shape for the entire control. In this particular case you can't read the text particularly well, but it's just an example. Rectangle rounded is quite a nice effect as well. So if I just click off the control, you'll see that's given a nice sort of border to this particular text. A few more things. Let's just double click again. There is, if you use the F1 key or press F1 for a tab, every tab has got its own help file. So if you get stuck on any of this, like font alignment, and you either press F1 on your keyboard or use these, you can actually get quite a lot of information to actually help you. So it's worth just showing you that. Just going to close down these. So that was just a really quick overview of the text label control in Repeat Signage.